What's going on, everybody? So this week we're gonna talk to Andres from Laying Low Hobbies. Um, Hopefully we learn some stuff today and have a fun time asking a bunch of questions. So here's Andres as the car speeds by. So what's going on, man?
No, bro, just here chilling.
So how long have you been in the hobby?
Um, well, basically, I've been on it all my life. You know what I mean? I started when I was a kid. My dad got me into it because he was doing it. I started like I was around, I'll say 9, 10 years old. And then it got into, the modeling and stuff. And then it took, a turn around 13, 14. I started doing, I was racing RC and stuff. So he got me into the RC stuff for a while. And then I got back into it again, like in my early 20s. And then just been doing it ever since then.
But you also collect a bunch of different stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm a big Hot Wheel gearhead, you know what I mean? I'm like I said, in general, I'm a car guy. You know what I mean? And naturally, you go into starting collecting the die-cast, 164 scale stuff. And that, it's a whole nother animal of a hobby, because you're out there hunting, collecting, going after the chase cars, and that's a whole nother topic, by itself. But yeah, I've been collecting and stuff, and been doing that for the same amount of years of modeling. So they go hand in hand.
So do you ever try to replicate some of the cars in your modeling?
Yeah, there's some that like you're out there driving around and stuff, and you see something you like or something you want to try, instead of buying a real car, to try that stuff on. You know what I mean? You get a couple of kits, and you try them on the plastic kits. Like I tell everybody, it's just plastic. You know what I mean? And if you mess up, so be it. You know what I mean? Get another one, hack it up, and try it again. But yeah, I try to replicate some stuff that I see out there. And my main thing, I like to play with colors. You know what I mean? And I like to try as much as different, color combinations and stuff, and the candies, your pearls, your flakes. Sometimes I stick with your basic pastel colors. You know what I mean? But it's a crazy game, because there's always someone that tries something and you're like, oh man, that looks really good. I'm gonna go back and try it on one of my cars. So it's there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of eye candy that's out there. Even if you're driving around or even surfing the web, on Google and stuff, you get to see some stuff that people build outside of where you live and stuff, and you want to try it, and the easiest way to try the things is on a model.
But being in Southern California, right, you see a lot of cool stuff, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're in the heart, down here in LA and stuff. You got your whole car cruising scene down here, but it's a diverse crowd out here, because you got your low riding, you got your mini trucks, you got your JDM VIP cars, you got your old school classics, you got your hot rods. I mean, down here, you see it all, and now lately, like I've been seeing a lot of supercars, like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and stuff like that, where I'm like, man, I'm gonna try something different. Which I know, the purest, Lamborghini or Ferrari guys gonna be like, what the hell did you do? You know what I mean? But I'm willing to try it out.
So you're gonna make a convertible Ferrari? Is that what you're trying to say right now?
So my main thing, dude, I have a couple of Porsches and a couple Ferraris that I'm working on where I'm slamming them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's something that a craze that's in Japan right now, where there's a gentleman that likes to put air ride and stuff and big wheels on Ferraris, Lambos, and stuff like that, and Porsches. So I'm like, oh man, that looks really good. I'm gonna try them on some of these kits, and I know the purists exotic car lover guys are gonna be like, what are you doing? But I mean, it's something fun that to try it out to see, just to see how it comes out, and see what kind of reaction you get out of people.
No, and and the internet tells you if you're doing a good job or bad job, or they just completely hate the idea too. So it's like,
Exactly, exactly.
so how's the modeling scene down in Southern California? Is the model shop starting to go away, or?
No, actually, to be honest, down here in California, it's a real big scene. What I mean? But I think right now where a lot of the mom and pop shops, they've been closing down, and your only sex variety are open, which are the popular hobby shop. Because we have a hobby shop down here called Pegasus Hobbies. It's one of the biggest hobby shops that we have here in Southern California. They're still open, and like I said, I like to support them and stuff. Anything helps. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the small shops been closing and stuff, and I think a lot of it had to do with internet sales, and then when the whole COVID stuff hit, that just piled on top of people selling online and stuff, that really hurt them, and a lot of the mom and smaller shops closed down. But we still have that big one, and then obviously your Hobby Lobby or your Michaels, if you're not close by that shop, or obviously people buy online and stuff, but the modeling scene here is still strong. I mean, there's a lot of shows that obviously we had to cancel due to COVID, but instead of getting together, I know a lot of these places were starting to do virtual shows where you jump in a Zoom meeting instead of having the actual show, physically there. They were doing a lot of Zoom meeting shows and stuff, and which was cool and stuff. And then a lot of the builders here in California, they're active on social media, so you get to see what they're working on and stuff, even though you don't go to the shows and stuff. You get to see it when they post it on their social media accounts and stuff, which is cool. We at least we still get to see and be a part of the community and stuff. But like here, man, it's not gonna die out, man. It's a strong thing here, and the bad part is trying to get new, fresh blood interested in the hobby. You know what I mean? Because you got the video games, you got girls, you got life. So you got to compete with that, and some people get interested, and as long as we pass down the torch to the young guys, they're gonna continue on. You know what I mean?
So when you pick out a kit, what accessories do you try to pick up to go with that car kit?
If I get a kit, if there's any aftermarket available for that kit, like photo edge, detail parts, I'll try to pick all that stuff up. But majority of the stuff, it's not. They don't have a lot of aftermarket for those kits. So I usually go to one of my a good friend of mine, and I'll send him what I want and stuff, and he machines stuff out of aluminum for me. And also, I'll 3D print stuff that if it's not available for that kit, I'll 3D print it for myself and add it to the kit. But usually I try to see what's out there first, company wise, to see if they have any aftermarket stuff, and I'll pick that stuff up, and add it to the build. And then sometimes I look at it and I'm like, yeah, it works, and sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? And you go a different route.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy on all the aftermarket for cars, though, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff you can do, but like I tell everybody, it's you can buy all that stuff, you know what I mean? But if your modeling basics are not, done right, all that money that you spend on aftermarket can look like crap,
Yeah.
because your modeling basics weren't done right. You know what I mean? So before anything, get your modeling basics and stuff done, proper and clean, and then add your aftermarket stuff. You know what I mean? That way, it's not a waste of money. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you can have all the aftermarket you want, but if your piece overall doesn't complement that aftermarket, then what was the sense of putting all that money into it? You know?
Well, and the right scale too helps with that, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put
Oh
something that's the wrong scale, it really,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's companies out there who cater to a certain kit and fit those parts to that kit. And there's certain companies that just, okay, 124 scale, and they just start producing parts. And then when you put it on your car, you're like, what? You know, that's not right. You know what I mean? So that's a gamble that you got to take. But I usually try to get stuff from the manufacturers that manufacture the kits, because there's a lot like Oshima, a lot of these companies who have the kit and they also cater to aftermarket for that kit, where they do their prototyping and stuff on that kit, you know, so you know it's going to fit.
Oh, that makes sense. And it's cool that there's actually that stuff now, because like even 5 years ago there wasn't that much, right?
Oh no, I mean like the beginning of the hobby and stuff, you know, that people wanted the like for instance, in the lowriders, you know, a lot of people wanted that 520 tire, you know, and a lot of them, you know, back then they didn't have that, you know, so a lot of these guys were making their own tires out of stuff that they find, you know, that resembles the size of that tire. Some of them use even like PVC pipes, you know, for plumbing and stuff, and they sand it down, shape it, and they add the white wall to it and make their own tires. I even know I was talking to a gentleman where in the lowrider scene, we have a buck and tuck interior and stuff like that out of velvet and stuff to mimic that. He was using straws, you know, for your drink.
Yeah.
He was using straws, cutting them down to get that perfect oval shape for his interiors, and then he'll paint them or he'll flock them to mimic that buck and tuck interior.
You mean the like the border around the seat, right?
Yeah, and sometimes yeah, and sometimes in the lowrider interior, they have like they call it buck and tuck,
Yeah.
right? They buck and stuff like that. They do the whole floor like that, or you know, a door panel to mimic that. He'll cut straws and make
Oh,
his design,
that's
and
cool.
then he'll paint it or flock it to mimic that interior, and it looks so good. You know what I mean? And that's using stuff that was available to him at that time when he was doing that interior. You know, now you have stuff that you can use where you can create that. You know, like a stamp, and they use that you know, that those foam sheets that they sell at the craft stores that people make for like little hats, and you know, like the kids that they use for kindergarten, those
Yeah.
little sheets. You get them in different color, and they'll buy a stamp, or they'll get a stamp created with the interior pattern, and then they will heat up the foam pad with the heat gun, and then stamp it, and they'll stamp the imprint of the interior, and then they'll cut it, and then they'll shape it to their car, and then flock it or paint it to create that pattern of the interior.
That's really cool. I'm not very good at that stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Once you get, into it a little bit. So you said 3D printed stuff. How do you think 3D printers help cars? Mostly in wheels, right?
Well, honestly, like I tell everybody, having a printer is just another tool in your toolbox for you in modeling. But the 3D world, I mean, it's a game changer. If you know, if you're fortunate enough to have one, I mean, you can create a lot of wheels and also body parts and bodies of cars that they don't make kits of. You know what I mean? So you can use something that's out there and create something that is not available, and it's just a crazy scene. You know, especially in the car game. I mean, I create wheels, I create bodies. Sorry about that, but mainly, like I said, I've been using it for wheels and tires, and I just barely started print bodies. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
How's that been going?
oh, it's been going all right. Like I said, right now I have a 112 scale 1970 Nova printing right now. Yesterday I just finished the front fenders, so
Yeah.
now I'm doing the body, and hopefully it comes out okay.
Yeah, and speaking of 3D printers, we have that hot 3D Creations trying to bug us.
Oh no, man. I mean,
Says he has 10 printers now.
yeah. I mean, he's a whole different animal when it comes to this stuff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I mean, he just perfectioned it. You know what I mean? And he has a system that works. And I mean, you can't beat that. You know what I mean? And like I said, he's very knowledgeable when it comes to a lot of stuff and troubleshooting printers and helping you out if you're like stuck or if you have a question. I mean, he's very helpful. I mean, he's helped me plenty of times to get stuff going and troubleshooting. I mean, it's just unbelievable what he knows, man. I mean, what he perfection, how he perfected it and everything. I mean, he's just a whole different animal when it comes to the 3D world.
Yeah. So what do you think about this about 3D printers taking the hobby where we can't go get kits, we'd have to print out the whole kit.
Honestly, to be honest with you, bro, I don't think it's gonna get to that point where it's gonna take over the industry. I mean, to be honest, I think it's a lot cheaper to get kits injected molded and produce at a faster rate than getting them printed. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot to get something to work right. You know what I mean? And you can you can have a group of people have the same file,
Yeah.
but depending on the environment where they live or how their machine performs in the environment they're in, not everybody's going to have the good results. Everybody's going to have different results. It doesn't matter if we all have the same file. It all comes down to how knowledgeable you are when it comes to setting up your printer and getting the right settings and your environment. That has a big deal to it. A lot of these, people don't understand that the whole environment and stuff, where you at, what part of the state or how cold, how hot, all that affects on quality of prints. A lot of people don't understand that. So if we all have the same file, we all ain't gonna get the same results. And there might be a lot of people who get failed prints or not even get a print, because of the environment they're in. So honestly, I don't think it's gonna take over the modeling industry where there ain't gonna be no kits being manufactured and produced. I don't think it's never gonna get to that point. Like I tell everybody, it's just another tool to having your arsenal when it comes to modeling. That's the way I see it. I don't see it as taking over.
I don't know. I especially in the cars because you got like round two and then there's Marvel bench cars or something like that that have just come back and they're doing some pretty cool stuff. But but for the most part, I know a couple people that are buying kits left and right because they don't want to deal with the 3D printer because
Oh
they
yeah,
think it's
I
coming.
mean, it's so to the point now where, I mean, it really comes down. Hey, do you want to get all messy? You have all the chemicals and all over the place. And there's people that don't enjoy that. People just like buying a kit, putting it together, and
Yeah.
showing people what they can do. You know what I mean? That's fine too. You know what I mean? But like you said, round two, you have round two, Tamiya, Revell, you got Mobius. I mean, there's so many kits coming out this year that I'm shocked, that we got some really good releases coming. You know what I mean? I'm excited, on some of these releases and stuff.
And that you probably heard this, but round two just got Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's gonna be a game changer for them, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's going to be good. I would like to see what they're going to come out with. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
So you like to cut up the bodies and stuff. What is the basic tools you need to do that?
Oh, I mean, if you want to cut up a body and stuff, I mean, all you need is your Zacto blade, the back of it, and that the photo edge saws.
Like the razor saw or whatever it's called?
Yeah, the photo edge stuff. You can buy some of those, and then that big hacksaw that Excel has with the little box, that big saw, and
Oh, yeah.
and basically what I use a Dremel and a cutting wheel. And also what you can use too is string.
String.
Yeah,
Like fishing string or like yard string?
yard string. No, like the sewing string.
Yeah,
That
okay.
people used to sew, but the strong one.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you put it at the edge. Say if you want to cut out a door, you put it at the edge of the door line, and you just move it back and forth. When with the friction and heat, it cuts your door out. And that's a lot of guys back then. That's how they used to cut their tops. They used to make convertibles out of their cars. They use the string.
Just make like a small hole and just work your way around, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
and then
a new one for me.
yeah, you use the string, and then obviously to put your body and stuff back together, CA glue with the accelerator. But there's a lot of people that when you chop a body, you got to cut it different ways, and you might have big gaps. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes what we do to fill in those gaps, we'll get a bunch of sheets of um, the styrene, like the evergreen or the plaster struck.
Yeah.
We'll fill in the gap, but we'll have it where it's sticking out, protruding. And then once you glue it in there and fill in the gap, you come in and you cut the access off, and then you sand it, and then it fills in the gap, and then you don't have to use filler or like people use CA glue and baking soda to fill in gaps and stuff. That's cool and everything, but if you have a big gap, you got to have that structure, with the plastic man, to stay uniform, you know. But then you sand it down, and then you use a little bit of filler. You do your body work, prime it, see how everything looks, and everything looks perfect. Then you wet sand it, get it ready for paint.
Yeah. It's just crazy the rabbit hole you can kind of once you kind of learn the basic skills, there's nothing really you can't do, right?
Oh no, I mean, sky's the limits. You know what I mean? It's just plastic. That's all it is. You hack it up, do what you want, and if you mess up, go buy another one, retry. But I usually like to save everything. You know what I mean? Like the tool parts. You know how they come in the with the little plastic thing around. For the injection process.
Yeah.
Screws and stuff. I
Mhm.
save all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because if I want to fill in, let's see if I like, for instance, if I have like a small hole like this, right?
Yeah.
And if I want to fill it in, what I'll do, I'll get the sprue, right? And I'll heat it up with a lighter or a candle, and
Mhm.
then I'll stretch it, right? And then once it's stretched, right, I'll cut it, and then I'll get it if there's a little hole, and I'll put it in there, and I'll jam it in, and if it'll come out, once it comes out, you glue it in place, and all you cut off the access, sand it down, and you fill in the hole, without using super glue or anything.
That's cool. I never would have thought of that, but that it's kind of like soldering with plastic, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to save all that stuff, because you never know when you're gonna need it. So I like saving all that stuff. Like I said, I got those plastic tubs where I'll just fill it up with different sprues, plastic. I mean, anything. Like that's a good essential when it comes to when you're fabricating, like a frame or you're trying to do like a different type of suspension setup and stuff. Having all that stuff is a good arsenal as well to your modeling, because then it goes into the scratch building stages where you scratch build this. You can, what I mean, it's the possibilities are endless. You know, as long as you have the right materials and your basic tools, you know what I mean, you can create anything.
Yeah, no, that's really really cool. I would not have thought of that, but that would work, huh?
Oh
That's
yeah, oh yeah.
that's
You know, and
I,
there's sometimes where like now how Revell and a lot of these kits are you know, like the 3-in-1s, or you know, where they come with extra, you know, you can build stock, custom, or wild, you know what I mean?
oh yeah.
I like to save all those parts, you know what I mean? Because on a, say you have another car you want to do and stuff, and you're like, oh man, I can use that from that kit or that part from that kit, and you kit bash. You know what I mean? That's another thing a lot of people like to do and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, possibilities are endless when it comes to your imagination and what you want to create.
What's up, Minnie? That's another guy I have got to get on here. Is Mini Dreams.
Oh yeah.
He does some really awesome stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay, he's another guy that likes to cut up a lot of stuff and likes to create a lot of his stuff, man. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of guys out there that you can get inspiration, ideas from, and Mini Dream is another cat that's phenomenal when it comes to modeling.
Yeah. Um. So, if you were gonna start over, what car kit would you get first, and what paint line would you get?
If I was gonna start all over again, like start fresh,
Yeah.
I'll get I'll get any car kit from Revell. You know what I mean? Because their kits are engineered and they go put together okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll get a Revell kit. And then when it comes to paint and stuff, I mean, it really comes down to your preference. You know, if you don't have a paint booth, you know, obviously I'll go with the acrylics. You know, so you won't have the smell inside the house if you don't have a designated area where you can go paint. I'll get the acrylics. That's one thing that I well, right now I'm dabbling in is in the acrylic stuff, but I'll start with the acrylics, and then I'll use the that Tamiya clear, that not Tamiya clear coat, but that Testors lacquer clear coat.
The dull coat or whatever.
Yeah, you know, in the can, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with that. You know, and then obviously as time evolves, then obviously you get to your automotive stuff, you know, your urethanes, your candies, your flakes, and all that stuff. But if I was to start all over, I'll get the Revell, my basic tools, you know, hobby knife, and you know, brush, and then I'll get acrylic paints, and then I'll use that Testors lacquer clear coat.
No, that's cool. What do you normally paint with now? Because I thought
Oh,
you were doing acrylics.
oh no, I mean, I bought stuff to start. You know, I'm starting to learn it, but it's trying to get the formula right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that's where I'm so used to the urethanes, you know, the automotive stuff, where trying to get the mixture and stuff for acrylics to come out of the airbrush without getting that tip dry and everything and splatter. That's where I'm having the issue right now.
That's my whole issue right now with airbrushing.
But like I said, I've been, you know, talking with people who are more familiar with the acrylic stuff, and I've been dabbling in. Like I said, a lot of my stuff, what I do, I'll use spoons to test first before I spray a
Yeah.
body or anything before doing a car. I'll get the spoons, I'll spray it on the spoons, I'll see, make sure I got the formula, I ain't getting tip dry and all that stuff. And then I'll but there's one thing that they did, because before I used to use a lot of automotive primer, but Gil introduced me to Steinerres. So all my stuff now is primed in Steinerres, and I put automotive paint on top of it. I'll have no issues with peeling. I don't have none of that stuff. or any chemical reaction with, because it's different brand of paint and
Mhm.
stuff. I never had a problem, and all my cars now, are done in Stano Res primer, and then I'll throw in the automotive paint on top of that, and automotive clear coat. Your two-stage clear. And it works beautifully. You know, and I
Wow.
do that because I don't have a designated area where I can paint. So a lot of my priming when I do body work and stuff is right here on my bench, and I spray here. So also not having the chemicals and the smell because I have kids and the wife, So that's why I use the Steino Res and prime all my stuff with that because I can do it right here at the bench where I don't have to take my stuff outside, to the garage and paint because that's what I do when it comes down to doing my actual, color base coat and stuff like that. I got to do it out in the garage, So when I'm doing body work and stuff, I like to do it here and just spray here. So that's why I transitioned to using the Steino Res.
So are you spraying that on in that room, or are you brushing it on?
No, I'm airbrushing it.
So do you have a booth up there?
No, what I do, I lay out, that those big roll of construction paper that you
Oh
can
yeah,
buy,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for your kids to doodle and stuff.
Mhm.
I'll cut a piece out and I'll lay it on top of my cutting mat and I'll spray right here.
No, I didn't know that. I thought you went outside or something to do all your paint. That's cool. I didn't.
Yeah, no, when I do body work and stuff, I do it here. And then when I do my actual paint work, then I'll go outside and do it. Because obviously the automotive paint, it's very, very strong smell to it. And I have kids, so I'll rather play it safe and do it outside.
So what's your favorite build so far?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Because I got so many that I like. But I think my favorite one is my 350Z, my Minty Z that I did. That's my favorite one this far.
Like the Nissan Z cars or
Yeah,
whatever?
that's right here. Yeah, that's my all time.
Oh, okay. Dude,
And then I got my personal signature plate.
license plate laying low, right?
Oh, you jelly.
Oh, you just okay. No, that's
I think this one is my favorite right now, but I have so many that I've done. Like my pink bomb, my 32. I mean, there's so many, but I'm really a big fan of the way that mint green came out on that Z. So that's my favorite one right now.
that I could see that why. That's sweet. I love those cars. There for a while I thought that was gonna be that series of cars was gonna be my first car. That's how
Oh
but
yeah,
I never could get my foot out of it. So
yeah, and then that one has machine barrels. The aluminum the wheels are actual billet aluminum.
oh okay. Oh, that's cool. I do you have to buff those out?
Yeah,
Because they
yeah.
come pretty smooth, right? You just gotta shine
No,
them up.
they come smooth and everything. The only difference is they're not polished. They come dull. So if you want that real polished look, then you got to polish them out. And usually what I do is to make sure they're super smooth. And this is a little trick. Not a lot of people tell you this, but I wet sand it. You know what I mean, with sandpaper
Yeah.
before I polish it. Just to make sure it's very smooth. I'll wet sand it, and after I wet sand it and stuff, I'll go wash it out. With this dishwashing soap and stuff, and I'll clean off the residue and stuff. And once I clean off the residue, then I'll use my Dremel and a polishing wheel, and then I'll get aluminum polishing, and then I'll polish them out with the Dremel, and it leaves a mirror finish, bro. When you do it that way, I mean, It's crazy.
Yeah, no, those wheels are shiny. So how do you like those clear cases that you had that car in?
Oh, I love them.
Do they work? Do they keep all the dust and stuff out of them, or
I mean, obviously, dust is going to be hard to not get anything dusty, right? But for the most part, it does keep dust off of them. It's very minimal that there's dust in there, but that also too comes down, obviously with the stuff, floating around and stuff. But majority of my cars are in that case. They're not dusty. My cars that I have in my actual display case are more dusty than these cars that I have in the case.
oh, okay,
Yeah, but I love them because you can stack them.
yeah, no, I've seen um like the houses where the guys just got ends and ends of those things, and you can just see how the car stays fairly well clean, but you don't know how long they've actually been in there.
Oh yeah, but see, usually what I do is because the outside of the case is just a magnet for
Yeah.
dust. You know what I mean? It's just, yeesh. So what I do every because I like to display my stuff here at home, and a lot of the dust gets on there, and once a month I'll take everything and I'll clean up the cases, and then I'll use that big brush that Tamiya has, and I will go in there and I'll dust the cars off and then put them back, But I usually do that once a month, so it doesn't get so bad.
No, that's cool. I for figures and stuff. I was thinking about getting those cases because you can put like a whole army pretty much in
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean, like
And
I
then
said,
down.
oh yeah, I mean, I mean, you can display anything in there, and like I said, for me, I never had an issue where they get so dusty, inside, them being inside the case. Like I said, I think they're more dust proof in those cases than actually having, one of those big display cases where you can put a bunch of stuff in there. Because I have one of those and I constantly have to clean that.
So, do you do any of the national shows or anything, car shows and stuff?
Yeah, well, here in Cali and stuff, I go to every single show. Um, but lately, what I've been doing, I've been going more as a spectator and just showing my bills. I don't usually compete, because the competing side of it, I like it, but I mean, there's so many politics when it comes to that, and I usually, like I said, I like to support the community and stuff. So I'll go and I'll just spectate and I'll have my cars there and I won't compete in the show, but I'll still take my stuff and and showcase, they're at the show and support whatever show that's going on. But yeah, I go to a lot of shows. I mean, any show that I can go to that's close by, or even if it's an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour drive, I'll make that drive just to support that person who's hosting the show, because a lot of people don't understand, if you don't go to these shows and support the guy
Mm-hmm.
who's putting them on, they're not going to come back next year to do it again. You know what I mean? So no matter what, I'll try to go to the show and support the guy who's putting it on. And like I said, I go with my club, or vice versa. We'll meet there at the show, and then we'll have a good time and get to talk with people in the same interest as you. And my wife don't like going because she says I ditch her all the time, because when I get there, friends and people that come up to me, so she says that I ditch her and she spends most of the time alone when I'm there at the shows, because I'm run constantly all over the place at the show. But I also like going to real car shows as well, because I like to get ideas and stuff. So I'll go to the real car shows. And like I said, I'm a big gearhead. You know what I mean? I got my real cars, I got my models. You know what I mean? I even, so I try to support, any event or anything that's going on, because if you don't support them, then they won't come back, and then you won't have shows to go to.
So, do you think it's possible that we get a national shows on the West Coast?
I
Because
hope.
it's going to be in Vegas, I think, this year, and then after that, I think it's headed back east.
I hope. I mean, because there's so much. Like here, dude, there's so many people don't realize because there's so many modelers here, not only in cars, but also different genres, you know? And I think now more people are getting um out of their comfort zone, out of their shell, and they're starting to put a lot of their work on social media. You know what I mean? I realize, I mean, right now with having, social media, I mean, there's a lot of builders now who are getting the courage to show their work in social media where, man, that guy lives 20 minutes from me. You know what I mean? You're like, what? You know what I mean? You start getting to see new people popping up,
Yeah.
which is cool. You know what I mean? And hopefully it continues that way, and hopefully we can get a big show out here. I mean, because the support of for them, to come out here and think that they ain't gonna have the support, they're gonna have the support. I mean, because there's so many of us that do it out here, you know.
Yeah, see, for you, it'd probably be LA or San Francisco, right? Probably one or the other.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to go from where I'm at to either Portland, Seattle, or down towards you.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's where it's kind of hard, because they're so far apart, But I think if you plan it right, you can make it happen,
oh, that's cool. I know at least up here, it may not be for down there by you, obviously, but it just seems like the hobby's it's not out front like it used to be. It's like it's really, really going away. And then all of a sudden it's like with COVID, it's like it's brought everybody back to the hobby.
Oh yeah, I mean, for a while you are right. It was slowing down. A lot of guys, obviously life, family stuff gets in the way from a lot of guys to producing stuff. And you're right, it was slow for a while, and like you said, when COVID hit, and you were at home, what else were you going to do to keep you entertained?
Yes.
So a lot of people started getting back into it, that were doing it before, because what were you going to do? And it's good to see that it did pick up, you know what I mean? Because it was slow for a while.
Yeah, it'd be nice to, and the other thing is I wish it was more affordable.
Yeah. See, that's where that's where I tell you know what I mean, because the prices of kids did go up, not only on kits but also tools, your certain paint, certain stuff is pretty pricey. And that's the thing, like I tell everybody, is that if you're going to start off, don't go out and buy high-end stuff, you know what I mean, right out the gate. Because if you buy high-end stuff out of the gate and you don't like it, then that's money that just you blew away. You know what I mean? Go out, get something to start off to see if you like it. And then if you like it, then you start moving up to higher end stuff because you're enjoying it. You know what I mean? If you start off right out the gate buying every expensive tool and stuff and you don't like it, then that's, money that you just threw away,
I think for me, I did that with airbrushes because I went and started with the Harbor Freight airbrush.
Yeah.
Just to see if I could get it to do stuff. And then once I got somewhat decent with that, I moved up to a, little bit more of an airbrush, but.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I tell everybody, if you're passionate about something and you enjoy, because I tell everybody it's an art form, you're creating something that you envision in your mind, and you're putting it out there for people to see. You know what I mean? And I mean, I started, when I first started, I was using rattle cans. And then
Yeah.
from the rattle cans, I bought that remember tester, that little airbrush that they did with that air canister
Oh yeah.
used to sell. That's how I started at airbrush, with that, you know. And once I got familiar with airbrushing and then the mixture ratios and stuff, then I moved up to the Posh, the old Poshes they used to sell and stuff. I went with that, and then once I got more comfortable and started doing more stuff, then I upgraded, and you keep upgrading. As your skill set improves, you start moving up and upgrading. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Now I've got like 5 or 6 airbrushes and still have the Harbor Freight stuff. You
Oh
know. But like that aerosol can one, do you
yeah.
realize Harbor Freight has the upgraded thing for that, so you can hook it up to an air compressor?
Oh, I didn't know that.
That $9 box, that
Yeah.
plastic is the upgrade version to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that they had. That's cool. Yeah, because that's how I started, with that little canister. You didn't know how many. You just clicked it on there and you put the valve in there. You didn't know how much air was coming out, or pressure, or what. Dude. And then if you were airbrushing a lot, the can gets real cold.
Yep.
It was crazy. Like I said, that's how I started.
And that can change the temperature in your bedroom. I know from experience.
Yeah.
Like it could be really hot in there. Then you turn that can on and it'd cool off real quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty much we've covered everything about cars. What other type of models do you deal?
I mean, right now, with being over there at the Cynic and stuff and hanging out with everybody out there, I'm starting to move to try different things. So like I said, I like any aspect of modeling and stuff, but right now I'm working on it's my first ever plane. I'm doing is that Tamiya, the Corsair.
Are you doing that group build between the 4 or 5
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, I never really got into that in depth on a airplane before. I have done planes, just to get familiar, but to the level of what I'm doing now with that Corsair, I never done it before. I mean, it's a whole new world for me. But like I said, hanging out over there and hanging out with some guys and stuff, Joe and all of them, I mean, that are very knowledgeable when it comes to aircraft and stuff. I mean, it's just the information that's out there and the information that these guys have made me feel more comfortable of trying something like that. So it made it a little bit easier. So that's my first ever aircraft cutaway, full in depth detail build that I'm going to do is that Corsair. And then now I'm starting to move over um, to painting figures. I never painted figures in my life, and hanging out over there and seeing what the guys can do over there, it just blows my mind away, and everybody's like, no, man, just go get your basic kits, your basic paint set, brushes, and start slapping paint on there. Yeah, they make it look so easy, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh man, I'm gonna try it. And then when it comes down to it, and Hobby Man Mike, he just told me, he was like, dude, just print out some figures and stuff, throw some paint on there, and if you don't like it, print another one out. So I'm dabbling in that stuff, and then there's a couple of I've been watching a lot of those guys that build the Doomsdays builds. They get like like the afterworld. You know what I mean? If a
Mad
nuclear
Max kind of stuff, right?
You know what I mean? I've been watching a lot of that stuff, right? So I'm getting interest in that, and then also too, I'm getting interest in that. Remember that the YouTuber guy that you sent me that does those videos for Star Wars? Like they're fighting, and he makes like a little scene.
Yep.
I went down a rabbit hole watching that guy. so now I'm, getting interested in that because, like I'm a big Star Wars fan because I was born on Star Wars Day.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm a
that's why I
big,
sent you that video. I was like, yeah, you need to check this out.
so I'm a big Star Wars fan. You know what I mean? And then starting to, the Bandai kits and stuff. I have them, but I never put them together because it never came across my mind. But after watching him and the stuff that he's been doing, I went down that rabbit hole. So like I said, I'm dabbling in that stuff. That figure world, the aircraft world, and then that Doomsday afterlife diorama scenes that I've been seeing that I want to play with. It's just my thing is that I'll start something and then I'll see something and then what? And then I go to that, you know what I mean? So I gotta quit. I gotta quit, starting something and moving on. I gotta finish what I have on my table, like that 55 that I've been working on. You know what I mean? I don't want to touch nothing until I have that 55 done.
Yeah, see, that's what happens when you have squirrelitis. You start with stuff like this, and then it migrates to this.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, and then Squirrel, I found Optimus Prime. And then, I started painting this guy because I've had him for more than 6 months,
Yeah.
So I totally get that one. And the cool thing about some of these groups on Facebook and stuff, if you have a question, a lot of people are just like, what do you need?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's a good thing of how social media works. I mean, now with whole COVID and stuff, you being at home and stuff, and going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, you get on these groups and stuff, and these guys are more willing to help out. I mean, you have a question, they immediately, hey, do this, and they help you out. And if you're stuck on something or you're not sure about something, you put it out there and you get feedback from wherever group you're in and stuff. And it's unbelievable where how now it with social media, because before, for order for you to talk to another modeler, you have to wait for that show to come and go to the show and see what they're actually working on and get to speak with them. And now with the internet and social media, boom, you get to see what they're doing. You get to ask them questions. And there's a lot of them who have like YouTube channels and stuff that upload, stuff and on a daily basis where, I mean, there's so much information now that you can get your hands on when it comes to modeling, not only cars, but I mean every genre that's out there is pretty much available, on social media now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm part of some of the bigger groups. At least I'm in them, right? But then like YouTube, I think the two guys that I got probably more info from was Classic Plastic 101.
Yeah, yeah,
and Dr. Cranky.
yeah.
Like you can go down, like you could start it at 9 a.m. and by 1 o'clock in the morning, you're still writing stuff down.
Oh yeah, I mean, they pumped out so many videos, and not only that, but how tos. I mean, they did so much stuff. That's where I wish that a lot of the ones that were out there back then doing all that stuff were continue to do it. Putting stuff out there. I mean, there's some that phased out, but they still have their videos up there.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You can spend all day going down YouTube. It's just crazy, but it's a good thing because you're learning all kinds of new skills.
Oh, and then there's some people that are out there doing like mixing paint. Showing the ratios. Try this and see if this works. I mean, there's so many formulas out there that people use. Try one, see if it works for you, and then if it does, or if you tweak it a little bit, to work even better for an environment that you're in. I mean, there's so much stuff and out there, but also too like magazines, books, that a lot of these companies are producing and stuff. I like to read all that stuff because there's stuff out there that they show in those books that blows your mind. I'm like, what? And it's so simple. You're like, what? You know what I mean? So I have a lot of books, a lot of reading material that I go through and I read. And there's even some articles that they have like on some of the magazine forums and stuff. They put how to's, how to make hinges for your cars. I mean, there's so much stuff out there, for you. If someone was going to get into the hobby now, there's so much information out there to keep you at ease and keep you, and get you to the point where you want to get to. I mean, there's so much information out there now.
No, and it's awesome. It's so awesome. And some of these groups, it's hard to keep up with now because like you post something and then you're like, well, I want to see, I wonder how many comments I got on that. And then you have to go back like 3 days worth of.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of people who are active and a lot of them like to post and that's a good thing. That's why like if you're out there, if you're working on something or you think this and that it's not, put it out there. Show your work. Show people what you're creating because there's a lot of us out there that do it and stuff, but we don't like showing anybody. That's cool too. I mean, don't get me wrong. If that's what you like to do, then by all means do it. But if you want to start getting out there and starting to show stuff, start posting.
No, yeah, it's it's really, really cool. So we've gone about an hour. Was there any questions you had for me?
Since you're doing this and stuff with the interviews and making videos and stuff, where, for instance, someone that wants to come in to do it, make videos and stuff, what will you recommend them how to start? Since you already been doing it for a while, you know what I mean?
So like when I first started, I was using the Gen 4 iPhone, the little bitty thing that used to be like 5 years ago or whatever. And then I upgraded to a camera. Well, now the new iPhones pretty much are better than my $200 camera. So it's like now I'm back to using the iPhone again. Yeah. So I mean, even when it comes to Hangouts and stuff, if you have one of the higher end phones, you can do pretty much anything on YouTube, anything, across for videos, Hangouts, get on social media. You can post a video on your Facebook page from your phone. Mm-hmm. So that'd be my first one. And then the other thing is, like, if I go to do a live YouTube thing,
yeah,
I just use StreamYard.
Okay.
On my iMac. I mean, that's basically what we're doing using now is StreamYard. And I did the $10 plan so I can put it on I could actually do 3 locations right now. I can do a Facebook page, YouTube, and then Twitch.
Oh, wow. So you can do it on all 3 at one time.
Yeah. I'm just using Facebook or YouTube and Twitch, but I can do 3 right now. Okay. But if you spend more money, you could do I think 8 locations now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can seriously get down the rabbit hole when it comes to some of this. But for the most part, if you don't want to spend any money, I could just stream this to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
With no problems.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of people who've been asking me to start getting out there, make videos and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not computer savvy when it comes to certain stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of gonna open up the YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So I can post videos, builds, and not only there's a lot of people want me to do how tos and stuff. You know what I mean? How to like my thing, dude. I love Outclad. There's a lot of them. Oh, how do you get that finish on Outclad? How do you know what I mean? And it's easier for me to show you than typing it up on a messenger.
See, I got this for Christmas this year.
Oh, okay.
I kind of modified it. I had this piece a long time ago, but my iPhone 12 fits in this.
Okay.
And then I just face it at me across the desk. It has a little bitty remote. So if I push the button, it'll start to record the video.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This was $40, I think, at Walmart. They had two different styles, but it was $40 at Walmart.
Okay, and it comes with that mic too, or that's a mic that you added?
No, okay, so basically what you get is just all this. This is actually what holds the phone. But it's so small it doesn't hold my iPhone 12.
Oh yeah.
so I kind of I had this thing. This is what I used to hold my phone up when I streamed a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it just hooks right in. So I've been using this.
Oh wow.
Has a little bitty cord for the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it works awesome.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah.
My 10-year-old grandson set mine up on YouTube. I use a power director, and it does all the videos that I need to do. Well, that's cool. I've never heard of power director, so I'm not sure what that is, but that's really cool. Yeah. And like when we talked before, if you really wanted to set it up like Classic Plastic 101, if you don't want to put your face in the videos right at first, set it up so it shows the car or what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And that's how I started. I didn't put myself on camera till probably year 2 or 3 of my channel.
Okay.
It was all about the hobby.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, that's just an LG. Oh, okay. Google Play Store Power Director. That's cool. Cool info. Thank you, BK.
Yeah, because a lot of them, it's easier for me to show than typing it, in a message.
Yeah.
So that's why that at first, I was like, nah, I really don't want to get into making videos and stuff. But, there's been people, constantly, asking and stuff. And then I was like, what, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to, get familiar with the in and outs of it, doing it and stuff. And, but like I say, it's cool that with this, how you can stream it in different, platforms at the same time than trying to, set all kinds of, it seems a lot easier now, you know what I mean? Talking with you, you explaining it, doesn't seem all confusing, Yeah,
and we could talk more offline too if you want. But for the most part, StreamYard is one of the easier things to upload too. Like when you go to do a live video over YouTube with like Google Hangouts and stuff, you'd have to get the stream key. You'd have to get it's so complicated. It's not even funny.
Okay.
And that's why people get frustrated with it. I've suggested this to probably 10 people and they all use it because it's simple.
All right.
But like I said, if you wanted to do what like I do, they do the $10 deal on Black Friday.
Okay.
So like I mean I don't use I mean I stream to 2 locations. I might add Facebook to it in a little while.
Yeah.
But who knows? I might just put it all back on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what happens after November. So did you have any other questions for me?
No, that was it. Just that one.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming on today. This has been really fun. I learned a lot.
No. Like I said, thank you. Appreciate reaching out. Having me on and stuff. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I know you do a lot of car stuff, and that rabbit hole can be this big or this big, just depending on
depending on how far down you want to go. It can get real crazy. Like right now, I'm dabbling into 1/64 scale. And this how crazy I am, where I'm starting to get my wheels actually machined out of aluminum in that size.
Dude, you are on a different level.
So
No, that's so cool, man.
I mean, depending on how crazy you want to get, bro, we can go down that route, bro.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. Mini Dreams, we got to get you on here, man. We got to get you on here. Same thing with BK Models. I've been watching a lot of his videos too. I got to get that guy on here too. But have a good weekend, guys.
Take care. Thank you.
Oh, now it won't end. My computer's cold.